Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode. Coming to you again with this guy,
Toby.
My name's Heidi. This is Crypto Tips. If you guys are here watching live, go ahead and say hi in the comment section so we can interact and whatnot. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them. We might be at the end going through, seeing if there's any questions we can address from you guys. But in the meantime, we have a lot to talk about today. A lot of things have happened. Hey, Total Bullion. Good to see you here. Hey, Pioka. Okay, so we're going to talk about the recent decisions made by things like the Fed and how things like precious metals have been reacting, and also, of course, cryptocurrencies. The Bitcoin halving, of course, is coming up. But most appropriately, hey, Josh. Hey, Josh, again. Hey, I love that you guys are saying where you guys is from. That's awesome. Poland, Israel, Vancouver, California.
That's cool.
Nice, huh?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Got a global audience. Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. So, okay, first off, let's address what is most, I guess, timely for us, and that is whether or not the coronavirus is as serious as people are, or as the media is portraying it to be. The fact of the matter is, it's how people are reacting that is affecting everyone's daily life right now, whether that's like empty supermarkets or pretty much. I think that's the biggest impact. Also, of course, travel bans. Hey, Doug C. Crystal ball. I definitely don't have one of those. So yeah, talking about travel bans, because very, very recently, Friday, we're in Portugal, by the way. And on Friday, one of the minister guys said that he didn't feel a need to input any kind of travel bans or closing the borders of Portugal. Because Portugal borders Spain, which is now one of those heavily hit countries involving coronaviruses, confirmed cases, there is now a closed border, right, from Portugal and Spain?
I think, they just closed it.
Also, the U.S. is no longer accepting non-U.S. citizens coming in from the Schengen zone, or like pretty much the European Union. For those of you who are pretty much saying, "Oh, coronavirus is nothing," it might be nothing, but you're still going to be affected by it one way or another. So Josh Davis, this guy with me, this is my husband, Toby, and we have a lot of interesting conversations, especially about topics regarding economics, crypto, precious metals, and politics. No, not politics.
Wild week. So far, It's Monday.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely appropriate to bring him on here and have some conversations with you guys. So we're not necessarily stuck in Portugal. This is one of our favorite places to be.
It's pretty nice.
And we actually had that conversation a couple days ago. If we had the choice of being locked out or locked in, we'd rather be locked in, just because of the way we have ourselves situated here. Would definitely be more beneficial for us economically to be stuck here. Maybe not surf-wise for you, because the surf is getting flatter and flatter, and he might be getting a little crazy, but...
Still 30 foot.
Anyway, okay, so this, again, it all ties into how it's affecting the economy, these travel bans, and, with the prices of oil is down to, what is it down to, you said? $29 range.
Let's see.
Has it gone down since we last checked already?
Yeah. 29.26. So it's down almost 8%.
Huh.
Bonds, the 10 years at 0.765. Oh man. Silver is down 10%. It's at $13. And we just bought some today, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Gold, silver.
Yeah, we went through Mike Maloney's website, gold Is it goldandsilver.com or goldsilver.com?
Yeah.
Because they let you purchase it with Bitcoin,
Yeah.
which is cool.
They give you 3% off too.
Yeah.
And gold is actually it's only down 0.57%, which is great. So
we noticed that the price of silver has actually dropped to around $11, while the price of gold is kind of stable. But what do you think is the significance of the price of silver dropping?
I mean, I think there's a lot of manipulation going on, and the reason why I say that is just do a simple Google search and just say...
No, not a Google search.
Oh, sorry, DuckDuckGo search. Sorry, good idea. I need to correct myself sometimes. Do a simple search and it'll say, just go JP Morgan silver manipulation. And then right away, 3 JP Morgan metals traders charged with market manipulation. Next one, JP Morgan facing criminal investigations over market metal spoofing. And next one, silver manipulation explained. Ex-JP Morgan silver's traders guilty plea could boost futures, silver futures, and
so their hands are all in it.
They're just manipulating the crap out of silver right now. Mm-hmm. They have so much paper silver, and they actually have a lot of physical silver. Who knows how much they actually have, but they're always manipulating the silver, and they always getting away with it too. They're just getting. They're if they steal $100, they have to pay like 1 cent in fines. Comparable, it's like crazy. So and then you have the London Gold Fix, or the Fix or whatever, and if you
the London Fix,
just Wikipedia that, the first thing it says is London gold fixing is the settling of the price of gold that takes place via a dedicated conference line, which you are not on. It was formerly held by the premises of Nathan Mayer Rothschild. You know those guys, right? Yeah. So, a lot of manipulation going on. And it's also, freaking people out so they might sell as well. Like, there's a lot of people that are just selling because they're just going to sell anything in this. You have a liquidity crisis, mm-hmm. They need to raise capital. And that's pretty much what's going on with silver and gold, I think. Mm. I think the combination between the two, that's it.
Yeah.
So they're really good deals, though. Back in 2008, I think it went, silver went from $21 to $9 in 2008. And then 2011, 3 years later, it was at $50 until they slammed it back down again. But this time, I really think they're losing a little bit of control. They don't have as much control over the market as they used to. So with that said...
So, speaking about precious metals, and especially, of course, this channel is pretty much dedicated to cryptocurrencies. The reason we're even bringing this up is because we're talking about real events that we are seeing play out. We're not sure exactly the severity of where it's going to go, but there's different levels of scenarios, and I feel like you should be prepared for as many of those levels of scenarios as you can be. And a video that I did recently saying what to expect after the crypto crash, I kind of talked about that a little bit, but pretty much talking about people moving into cash or to precious metals or to Bitcoin, and what would kind of motivate them to go into those options. For me, when I'm thinking of people moving into things like precious metal, like silver, because it is easy to spend and easily divided, that's like a worst case scenario. That means the banks have collapsed, your currency is completely hyperinflated or died for whatever reason. It's also what if the internet goes down or something? There is that certain benefit for precious metals, but realistically, I don't think it's going to get that severe for the internet, and we're scavenging and bargaining with people. But for me, that's where Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies play into, is because they have that transferability digitally and your possession of it, your custody of it is solid. So
I mean, because think about it this way, like people are like, oh, Bitcoin's going to go to zero and stuff, and I'm just like, that's crazy thinking, because where else are you going to put your money? You're going to put it in a bank? Okay, so the bank goes down, then what? How are you going to send your money if credit freezes? You're not. And you're not going to send your gold anywhere, or you might be able to. That's a lot more difficult than sending a quick transaction on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like
shipping and physical gold, is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. Like
weight of that and the shipping costs if they're still in business.
Yeah.
Because the oil is so cheap. They're all going to have to get
So I mean, Bitcoin is a lifesaver. I mean, if it drops again, I'm buying. You know, like I'd have to be an idiot not to buy this. So and yeah, it could drop to $1,000. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, we've just begun on this whole crisis. Like this is just the beginning. Like that they had an FOMC meeting on Wednesday. They couldn't even wait.
What does FOMC stand for?
Federal Open Market Committee.
Okay, I don't know.
So they had a meeting on Wednesday, and then they couldn't wait. They had to open it or make an emergency announcement on Sunday, going, okay, we're going to implement QE5. I think it was like 700 billion or 800 billion, plus lowering rates to zero. That's like crazy on a Sunday. This reminds me of 2008. That's what happened, I think, on a Sunday. That's what they did. They had an emergency meeting. And I haven't seen this since then, I don't think. So, yeah, this is really, this just shows you how much of a panic mode they are right now. So, yeah, this is pretty much as bad as it gets. And this is as bad as it gets for right now. And then it's just going to get worse, I think. You know, I mean, I can't imagine them being able to save this system as it is. I mean, what are they going to keep adding debt? Like, that's just going to exacerbate the problem. So, yeah, I think they're screwed. I think the feds are screwed in that way. I think they're incredibly wealthy, though, because they will own everything just about everything at the end of this. They're buying up stocks. They're buying up all these companies. Real estate. They're huge into real estate. They own a lot, and they're going to own a lot of the U.S. public. You know, a lot of the U.S. citizens are in debt. Well,
and that does.
They own the U.S.
That also bleeds into like the global economy as well, because.
Yeah. But I think more so the U.S. because, I think more so the U.S. But, so I think there's a lot of problems ahead. And I think there's a couple things that people can do is just, buying gold, silver, and Bitcoin, I think, and then actually holding a bit of cash on hand. You might not think cash is a good idea or whatever, but I think it's a good idea. If you were holding cash, for the last 2 weeks, you'd be pretty freaking happy right now. And then you could just buy up twice as much Bitcoin or whatever.
Yeah.
So with that said, that's the allocation I would do. I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
So that's how you protect
solid
yourself.
Cryptos.
Yeah.
Physical, precious metals, silver, and cash.
I think didn't we tell the audience like last time to grab some cash on hand?
I can't remember.
I think we did, and so I think that's really important right now.
Yeah.
Because we are entering a liquidity crisis right now, and you don't want credit freezing, and you're not able to get like cash out. Because once that happens, banks will shut down, and your ATM won't work or anything like that. So.
Liquidity crisis because.
Let's talk about.
Okay, liquidity crisis because digitally there's so much money on, you can just push
I think there's 1.5 trillion actual physical
paper.
Yeah.
Paper, colorful, monopoly
Which is
money floating around.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So,
but it's interesting because like there's this like the crypto crowd, myself included, are enveloped in like a utopia of how perfect everything could be if everything was great and decentralized and if money wasn't tied to governments and some political scheme, and the dystopia of what we're pretty much seeing play out right now with the decisions being made by the Fed of like all of it finally coming to a head, and there's really not a whole lot of options for them other than to, like I said in that video, kick the can, keep kicking that can down the road. So that's why...
It's not even a can anymore.
No, exactly.
It's really a piece of tin.
Yeah, it's like dust at this point. But like, you have to hedge yourself, like I said before, for so many different levels of scenarios. It's like you said over again, too, like with a seatbelt scenario. You're not going to, if you arrive home safely and you didn't have a car wreck, but you're wearing your seatbelt, it's not that out of your way to do that. Yeah. So if you're not, drowning in debt, and if you have some cash in your bank account or something that you can take out and have physically in your hand, that's not a bad idea, just in case. Yeah. But also, it's definitely, I think, worth it to have some allocation into Bitcoin or other solid cryptocurrencies, and again, precious metals, not to keep repeating ourselves here, but like you were saying, the liquidity crisis and now what's happening with Bitcoin in like 25 days or so is the halvening.
36, right? Something like that.
Yeah, but so that's again just like a stark.
Or is it? No, it's 56.
No, it's not. It's like in I don't know. Bitcoin what month are we on? March. So
good one.
Yeah, it's like a stark contrast of this the Fed the New York Fed promising to inject $1.5 trillion, which they will print out of thin air into the economy to boost it up in a ultimately fake way, obviously, compared to Bitcoin, which has a scheduled, written hard coded into software to be decreasing over time. Yeah. I mean, if you were a part of some central planning, economic planning team for a government, wouldn't you like to have something that is so organized and guaranteed infallible?
People are going to flee to this.
I think
people are going to flee to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There's nothing else they can flee to.
But it's only when it really hits them hard at home, unfortunately, for most people, when it is in their face, that they finally can understand what their government has been doing with their fiat currency to get it to the state where it is today, that's when they're going to, for most people.
I think some people, I really think that cognitive dissonance has just taken over. I don't think people are going to learn from this. Like they didn't learn in 2008. So I don't think they're going to learn now. But, we are going to learn. Like we are going to be on the right side of this. Like we are in the best shape to get through this.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we're going to come out unscathed.
Like all of us, like all this group
I think everyone in general is going to hurt in some way or another from this. But your best bet at really coming through this in the best position that you can be, I think, is to hedge in all the ways that we just said past 10 minutes.
I mean, I think people are going to thrive as well because...
And in the long run, but not during it. It's going to suck.
They have to get through this.
Because people have jobs.
Yeah. I mean... No, I get it. Yeah. But I'm saying is like, at least for the people that have jobs, I think it's important for them to have at least something that they have that they know is a safe haven, and that's going to give them hope. You know what I mean? Because if you have no hope, if you're stuck in debt, and you're losing your pension because of this crisis, equities are dropping and bond yields are dropping. You're not gonna be with it. That's like horrible situation. There's no hope in that, and that will just make you depressed. Whereas at least if you have a job and you've been accumulating Bitcoin, gold, silver, and you do have some cash on hand, like you're going to be set, you're going to feel a lot better than if you didn't. And you're going to do a lot better than probably your coworker that if you didn't, but I would recommend people like helping people as well. Like, hey, explaining to people, kind of getting out of that comfort zone of like, oh, I don't want to talk about it because I'm always getting shut down. I can tell you right now, people are going to listen now. I've been getting emails from people from all over the place asking me, hey, you remember that thing you were talking about, a couple years back or 10 years back? Yeah, I kind of need help. I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, okay, wow. So people are actually now open to hearing about this stuff, which is really good for Bitcoin, gold, and silver. Because people want to protect themselves, and fear drives people way more than greed. So
maybe it's also like the age group of people, because typically the younger the age group, the more open they are to understanding or being open to other options, rather than like thinking, oh, this has always worked for me for like 40 something years. Of course they're going to be skeptical of something brand new, shiny promises or whatever. But I think in certain situations it certainly pays to be open-minded and to not, close yourself off to some options.
I mean, people still remember that, oh, that's the Bitcoin guy that I told them about like 8 years ago or whatever. Just like, oh, that was that guy. So then they'll remember that. They'll be like, oh yeah, who said something about that? I want to talk to him. And they're like, oh, you still holding on your Bitcoin? It's crashing 40%. Yeah. I'm like, just wait. This is what happens during a recession. We haven't even entered a depression yet. Like, if we enter a depression, I mean, I think the odds are pretty high now. But as a recession, this is a recession. Like, there's just anybody saying that we are not in a recession. We're in a global recession right now. Like, this is a guarantee 100%. There's no way to, spin this. Okay, but we will probably enter into a global depression. I think other countries will be better off. I think countries like Portugal are going to be way better off because they've experienced hardships in the 90s.
They're more mentally prepared or accustomed to extreme situations rather than
a dictatorship.
Unfortunately, countries like the U.S. or like really highly developed westernized countries that haven't had hardships, haven't had to deal with making really tough decisions on like, what you're going to spend money on, like for food or necessities. Even sourcing food and necessities if, the supply chains break down. So, I mean, it's so funny because only if this situation were to ever come to fruition. Anyway, if you're talking about things like this, people are just going to write you off as being loony or a conspiracy theorist or like, unnecessary.
That's fine.
But, yeah.
I'm used to that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, for us, there's different reasons why we choose to spend most of our time here in Portugal.
Yeah.
I mean, surfing obviously being number one, the food and seafood number two, sunshine.
People number one. We love the people here.
People are great. Yeah, of course.
We do love the people here. Anyways.
So, yeah. Do you think bringing it back to
Bitcoin,
the Bitcoin halving in 56 days? Someone sent that out.
Yeah.
59.
56.
No, 56. Do you think that event has already been priced in? That's a super common question people ask, I think.
No,
it hasn't.
No.
Usually the benefit of it, we see it afterward.
Governments are going to be printing so much money.
Or are you thinking this whole thing that we're seeing right now is affecting Bitcoin in a way that is kind of putting the halving event on the back burner?
This is panic selling.
Yeah, okay.
It's just pure panic selling. And yeah, there's maybe some manipulation in there, but not as much as silver and gold.
There's definitely some manipulation.
But not as much as silver and gold.
No, it's not like a guaranteed thing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, panic selling. I mean, everybody's like, I'm getting out of the market.
Yeah.
I get it. It's fine. Fear just overtakes people and they sell regardless. It could be like $5 and they're going to sell it.
Yeah. I wish I remembered who wrote it, what website it was, because I'd love to share it with you guys. But I read an article yesterday about someone saying how the DeFi market in the cryptocurrency space is pretty much going to crash and burn, and a lot of projects are going to get scrapped because it is so new and they haven't quite figured it out yet. And it's this whole thing shaking out the weak hands, and the projects that come through from this, are going to be all the better for it. And those who have held through this, same thing. They're going to be all the more better for it.
This is wonderful.
One thing,
that,
oh my gosh,
yeah.
One thing that kind of gets on my nerves is when people say, "Oh, hodlers got wrecked." No, we didn't, because we didn't sell. We're still holding, and that means, anyway. So for those of you who think, if you're holding Bitcoin still, man, that sucks. No, it doesn't, because we're not planning to sell it at a low point. That's why we're still holding it.
We also bought a lot lower than this. So
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Like, I mean, what was it last year? It was at 3,900.
Yeah.
It's at 5,000 right now.
Yeah. People like the moonshots, though, and so anything that's not a moonshot, it's like bad times. But
yeah, so
it's a young market. It's a small market. Volatility is going to happen.
I don't think the Bitcoin halving is priced in.
When do you think it will start showing its colors?
I don't know. I think maybe 3 months, 4 months after the halving. Yeah. Similar to what's happened before. But I mean, central banks around the world are printing so much money, like So you're going to the halving with the supply halving, and then you have central banks printing more money than they've ever printed before. I mean, okay, so all this Corona thing is like the pin that popped the debt bubble, or at least this global economy. Well, this is a perfect storm for Bitcoin, I think. It's
a perfect use case for it, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a perfect storm on like all aspects of it. Like, I mean, you're going to go into a digitalized or a tokenized economy. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, like, I think Raoul Paul, one of the guys that I listened to, he was like, corporations are going to be completely tokenized, which is great, So I think with that said, Bitcoin halving is amazing. Like, people that can hold on right now, and then it's not too difficult for them, I think they're going to thrive in the end. I think not only will you thrive, but you're going to be able to pick up so much real estate if you want to. Like, these are going to be bottom prices. Like, people are, I mean, this doesn't make me happy, but you're going to see real estate get devastated, like literally flattened through this. And that's probably going to take a little while. But once, the cascade effect happens, then it's going to keep getting lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. So you'll have a deflationary depression pretty much. That's what I see. And then that's when you purchase property, because people are going to be desperate to sell their property. They don't care. They just want to sell it. So, and yeah. I
mean, that's also like talking about debt. If you can't, like, that should always be your number one priority, is to get out of debt, but especially in situations like this, where, like, you're talking about credit freezes and things like that. Oh, for someone asking if this is a crazy guy surfing big waves in Portugal, yes, that is the case. That is this guy. I tweeted about. I wanted to talk. Okay, so I'll ask this to you guys in the comments. You all who are watching live, thank you. If you're enjoying this conversation, go ahead and leave a like and share this out so other people can take part. Say hi in the chat. But so like this is like the fourth video that we've talked about this whole situation. Granted, it is necessary because it's a super important thing to be paying attention to. But now that, sports aren't happening anymore because of, COVID-19, whatever they're calling it, people still need their bread and circus. So if you would like to hear a surf story that happened to Toby recently, if you want to hear it from his point of view, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. I can link the video so we can play it behind us. But if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and let us know. Scott, it was insane.
Yeah.
There's also a whole lot of funny similarities between witnessing that, and I'm sure for you going through that, and like what we're theoretically going through with this economy. But,
yeah. So I pretty much got a minor concussion on a 70-foot wave.
Yeah, and a bruised rib.
And a bruised rib
That's
by
from the
smashing
jet ski.
myself into a jet ski underwater.
Not on purpose, but...
No. All in one.
Okay, let me... okay, so while I'm getting that video pulled up, I'm going to have you talk about... You mentioned Raoul Pal before, but who are other kind of people that you enjoy or find valuable to pay attention to, what they're saying, their perspective, and, what they're talking about?
I think Mike Maloney is really good. His Hidden Secrets of Money. It's really taught me a lot about how money works. I've been following him for years now. And he's been just trying to get people to buy silver and gold, and now he's kind of been on the Bitcoin bandwagon, which is kind of cool. So he sees value in this. And this guy knows more about money than pretty much anybody I've ever heard. And so, yeah, that's pretty much why we went through him and goldsilver.com to get our silver today. So, I mean, looking at it, $12 for an ounce, so it's just crazy. Just reminds me of 2008. Like 3 years later, it did a 5X or 6X or something like that, which is nuts. And then also, I like Gregory Mannarino. I think he's a good guy.
He lets us know what day it is.
Definitely lets us know what day it is. So if you ever are wondering what day it is,
he posts a lot. He definitely posts a lot of videos.
2 to 3 times a day.
That's insane.
But I mean, he's got a lot to cover, and he breaks it down, and I kind of like that. So, anyways, maybe I don't agree with everything he says, but I mean, he's a good person to learn from. So, and then Raoul Pal, he's just a really intelligent guy. I definitely don't agree with everything he says, and neither do I have to. I mean, you take a lot of good things from these people, and you can implement them. So, for instance, he doesn't think it's wise for people to hold more than like a 1%, or at least older people to hold 1% of their portfolio in Bitcoin, where I'm like, I think that's completely wrong, because like they're going to miss out on a huge wealth transfer even if you hold 1% of your money in Bitcoin. I mean, that's enough to change your life. Whereas if you have it in something else, then I mean, what's going to do better than Bitcoin in the long run, other than nothing? I don't think. I mean, gold and silver are great, but I do not think they're going to take over Bitcoin. No way. Not with a tokenized economy coming up. Just no way. So, speaking about that, as far as like coins are concerned, I think that this is going to clear away a lot of weak projects, like projects that probably shouldn't exist, either in too much debt or whatever. I think they're going to be wiped out through this, which is great, because you want that to happen. You want this free market to weed out the weak players here. So I think when projects go down, even if I own them, fine, good, get rid of them. And so,
this
those
is
devs
also why even in like you hedge outside of crypto within crypto. So like you don't have all of your eggs in one basket of one crypto coin. No. And that keeps you from also being way too emotional and way too tribal about that coin and having an open mind again. So,
So this is really good.
This space is so incredibly young. If something fails, it's probably, again, for the best. And something else will come up, because it is saturated with creative people.
And it's open source.
Yeah.
So bring it on.
Yeah.
This is great. This is why this will thrive. The Federal Reserve doesn't have an open source anything. You know what I mean? They're so centralized, and that's why they're failing.
Because it would be so disappoining for the public.
They don't understand the law of entropy. Anyways.
And also too, like with this whole creation of Bitcoin and this cryptocurrency space, it has opened the door for so many people to have jobs, but it's also opened the door for so many people to pursue this as a future for the younger generation. So coming in, it's like there's just gonna be waves and waves of people who have studied how to, developers, software engineers,
kids are gonna
computer
love
scientists.
This stuff.
Yeah. So
like kids aren't gonna want to go to a bank or sign up at a brokerage
and
house.
they can't do it only from Monday to Friday from 9 to 5.
And their friends can just send them Bitcoin and not have to deal with anything else and don't have to pay tax or whatever.
Do you have, sorry, and a side note, do you have this video saved on your computer? Like as a file?
No.
No?
You have to
because I can't make it work with
type
this.
in my name and then Nazare or
on YouTube? Is it possible for YouTube? Because this won't work because I need to push play.
Oh, okay. I'll find it for you. You go ahead and talk.
So, we're gonna try to pull up this wipeout that Toby had. It was like February 15th or 16th or something. It was like right before Valentine's Day. Yeah, that's what I had. But okay, I'll just have to, if you guys are interested, I'm gonna link. Here's a link for the experience that we're talking about. But here. It's not gonna play.
Yep. It's playing.
No, not for them. This is just ours.
How do you set that up?
It won't work because it's just like a screenshot of the website and I can't push play through it. So yeah. Anyway, for me, talking about what we're seeing, being aware of the situation, with this whole global economy thing happening and pandemic, and like kind of seeing the pieces move into place and being aware of the repercussions of those decisions and actions, is the same as me watching Toby surf a 70+ foot wave. Because at that day, it was like really pumped up by like the local media. All the bigger name surfers here were, like Garrett McNamara, of course, and Laird Hamilton was here. And, it was a really hyped up swell. So there was a really big crowd of people on the lighthouse. And I am the radio for Toby.
And by the way, Heidi is Laird Hamilton's favorite cook in the entire world.
No, don't say that.
Yes,
I don't know that.
He said that. Heidi was pretty much his
I got my cook on for them. That was fun.
Yeah.
Name drop there.
Just saying.
Okay, anyway, so I'm on the radio for them. And so what that means is I am, I have my binoculars, I have the walkie-talkie radio for them. And I'm telling them, what the situation is with the waves, which ones look good, when a big set is coming, if they're on a wave, if they fell, what direction they're surfing in, how they can navigate the jet ski from the inside, around the peaks and everything to the outside, because it is Nazare and there is no channel, which means there's no safe zone.
There's
generally.
0 safe zones out there.
So for me, I was pretty much fighting my way through this crowd. If you've ever seen a photo of the lighthouse, it's like there's not that big of a border between like the drop off of the cliff. So I'm like kind of hanging over the border with like this huge crowd of people behind me. And I direct them into this wave. And Toby, bless his soul, was very brave and like not shoulder hopping whatsoever. He was like in it to surf the wave. And it was such a strong north and like offshore wind. I think it kind of kept you from making it down and around. Yeah, it slowed you down. So I went from this emotion of like being so stoked and like excited. I remember thinking, Toby's on one of those waves. Yes, finally, it's so awesome, to realizing that the wave is breaking and he's not going to make it. And then it was just like utter fear and like a nightmare situation. But still, I'm surrounded by these people who are watching what I'm watching, maybe not as intensely, but they're seeing it and they're just like, it's like my worst day ever. So it's kind of interesting of like this disconnect of the reality.
Well, tell
for
them why
people.
Before.
What?
2 weeks before that. Somebody.
Well, yeah, okay. I was a little bit mentally stressed out because there was actually a really horrible accident that happened. There's the big wave tow-in, the WSL big wave tow-in event.
It's a big wave tow-in surf event here.
Yeah, with the jet skis.
Yes.
So they got whipped in with a jet ski rather than paddling in. And anyway, so there's a lot of jet skis involved, and there was an accident, and some guy, you know, had a head injury. He wasn't wearing a helmet, and
he bashes.
He's
head
okay
on the jet
now.
Ski.
He's recovering, and he has like, you know, functionality and things. But
he was not breathing for 4 minutes.
It was a really serious situation.
And they had to do CPR, and they got him alive again.
I watched that video about 50 times. It's just good for my mental state.
Yeah, bad.
But so for me, watching Toby go through that wipeout, I just okay, so the link that I shared, maybe I'll post it again here for you guys. That video, there's a lot during the rescue. A lot of things went wrong. Also, the rescue team who came in to get you, his ski wasn't fast enough, and okay.
So I made it down to the bottom of the wave. The wind was blowing in my face really hard, and then I knew the whole world was about to crash down on me because I couldn't get out of the wave's way. So I just kind of
what goes through your mind when you're surfing that wave?
Just like well, there's a lot of bumps, so I'm flying. If you'll see,
it's
like
bumpy. That's what you're thinking.
I'm just jumping in the air, going down the face of the 70-foot wave.
Oh my gosh, this could be the biggest wave in my life.
You can't tell.
Okay.
So I look at it, go, okay, I'm focused on catching this, and this, you deal with what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And so I try to make it around the bend, and I couldn't. It smashes my head. I hear a ringing noise in my head, and everything just slows down like. And I'm like, oh no. So I'm underwater, getting destroyed.
Yeah, you're not just like floating underwater either. It's like a violent.
Well, I'm pinching myself to make sure I don't pass out. And so after a while, I finally come up. My giant vest is almost thrown over my head, so I had to pull that back down, swim. Then I got wiped out again because the next wave hit me. And then the next wave was coming. This guy on a jet ski came and tried to get me. And I was kind of disoriented a little bit, so I grabbed him on the jet ski. He took me about 2 meters, 6 feet, and then I had realized the next wave was going to hit us, and so I had to let go and got destroyed by that. In that whitewash, I actually hit the jet ski because the jet ski flipped over as well.
Because you were still pretty close to it.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. So that was a wild day.
Yeah.
That was fine. I wasn't out of breath. Just had a little concussion, and that was it.
Yeah. When you were finally on the ski that I was connected with through the radio, I kept saying, "Is he okay? Is he okay?"
What did I say?
And I can overhear. It's the kind of radio that we have. It's kind of like a phone call. Like it's always open line for both ends. So I could hear Toby say, "I'm alive. I'm a little bit dizzy."
But I was fine. So.
Also slightly concussed a little bit and probably didn't realize what just happened. But yeah, so that was like
but I kind of
moment.
thrive off things like that. I mean, it just kind of makes me okay. I survived that, so it makes me want to go even harder than that. So, but I guess I can turn that around into the markets. Just I love it when it's like this.
But it's when you're prepared.
Yeah.
And you're prepared
I know
both
I'm prepared.
in your allocations and in your education.
Sure.
And awareness of what's happening.
For sure. And if I wasn't prepared, I'd be like, oh my gosh, well, you got to deal with it. But,
yeah.
I mean, I enjoy watching what's going on. Not the death, people dying or anything, but I enjoy watching the Fed freak out. I really enjoy that because I hate them. So freak out and then trying to save an already dead market. And this is great, Finally, people might wake up to the fact that these guys are just scam artists. And it might take something like this to wake a lot more people up. Like 2008 woke me up. I wondered, why did my dad lose his pension?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because this was, all planned. This was all planned. Give me a break. There was people calling this 2 years in advance. So, this, I love this. This is great. Bring it on. There's going to be pain and suffering, but in the long run, I think people will come out much stronger through this. As long as the thing that worries me is governments will go ahead and take crazy measures like after 9/11, like the Patriot Act, and all these Orwellian measures. I think that I'm worried that that's going to happen, and I really hope it doesn't. If it doesn't, thank God, but that's my big worry.
Yeah, so that's how you sleep at night.
I sleep great. Yeah, it's fine. Like I wake up and Bitcoin's down, 30%. I'm like, okay, well, because we are cost averaging. We're not going all in. We're not in leverage.
I mean, obviously, ideally, we would like our investment to be going up. So it's not like,
I mean, if we're not in debt. Like
if we're in a position to buy more when the price is going down, that is great. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. So, yeah.
So.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That's all I have for our notes.
I hope that people really take to heart what we're saying, and if they haven't prepared right now, then start now. Turn off the computer and go. Especially if you're in the U.S. So I know it's daytime right there on Monday. So get some cash. You don't know. I think the number one thing right now is get some cash on hand. Because who knows if...
But don't touch it for 9 days because it might be infected with COVID-19. Yeah. So just have them put it in an envelope and then keep it away for 9 days. And then you can
definitely get cash, guys. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well,
let's see any...
Hi, Naomi Brockwell is here.
Is she?
Hey, everyone. Great to see everyone in the comments. Going great. An interesting podcast that I caught live yesterday was... Anthony Pompliano and Caitlin Long. That was pretty interesting. Her take on the progression of the debt and things.
Yeah. that was a really good video.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. That's going to wrap it up today. We've been on for a while now. Again, if you guys enjoyed this, I appreciate it if you leave a like.
This guy says, so you have no debt? Yes, we have no debt.
Yes.
And we encourage everybody to get out of debt. Especially during this time.
Yeah.
Do what it takes to get out of debt.
Your mortgage first. Should be your mortgage.
At least, because if you have a mortgage, you at least have a home that you can
If you don't have a mortgage, you have a place where no one can take away from you. You have that.
Yeah, if you don't have a mortgage,
Yeah.
So, that's really important because, banks aren't going to be able to take it away. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So, hey, Philippines. DDoS. Nice name.
That's way so brutal, yeah.
A little brutal.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That was my first reaction the first time I ever went on a jet ski. And it was probably 40 foot, 50 foot.
Yeah.
And I came around the bend of the big rock and I just thought, and there are guys paddling, sitting ducks in a war zone. And I just kept thinking, what went wrong with them that this is their idea of fun? Sorry, my alarm keeps going off. I gotta call my mom soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mom, I'm gonna call you soon, I promise.
Yeah. We told her 2 weeks ago, hey, load up on cash.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, cool. So, anyway, that's all we have for you today. Hope you guys are, keeping it informed with whatever sources that you find to be valuable.
And this guy says, would you buy a house with a mortgage now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Can
you trust those interest rates that they
And can you trust housing prices right now? Trust me, they're going to go back to fair value and below. So, yeah. Don't get a mortgage right now, please.
Hi from India. Hey, thanks. I'm glad you enjoy these videos. Cool. We'll be seeing you guys again soon. I'll be coming to you with another video. Can't say what it's going to be about because I'm usually winging it until about a day or so before. I'm really bad about planning my videos, but that's okay. Keeps them relevant, I think, and fresh.
But if something huge happens, again.
Yeah, we'll be on it. We'll be going live whenever we need to.
Keep you guys posted for sure.
Yeah, we debated going live last night at 10 p.m., but no, I was too tired.
I'm come on, let's do it.
Bedtime.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna keep it up, or that's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me find how I stop going live. Here you go. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See you soon.